All right, let's talk playlists. So just like you can take your entire music library on an iPod and put together specific playlists that fit, your mood or situation or whatever, we can do the same thing with videos on YouTube. Our own videos, so if we've uploaded videos that we want our students to watch in a particular order, or other people's that we want to have our students watch in a particular order, or that we want to keep track of or use for certain units or lessons, we can do that all through playlists. So there are many ways that you can put a playlist together and many ways that you can add videos to a playlist. So I'm just going to quickly show you a couple here. We can start by finding a video. So I'm just going to click on one randomly here on how the pyramids were built. And what we could do here is when we're watching the video, you'll notice that we've got, first of all, the channel name. So if I wanted to see other stuff that was produced by this particular provider, I could click on their name because that's a link and that would take me to their channel. I could subscribe to their channel if I wanted to. I can share this video, so if I click on that, I get the web address that I could then send to other people or put on my website. If I click on more, I can report it. I can get transcripts of it. So if I wanted to have a transcript of the closed caption video, I can do that through more. But what we're interested in right now is here, where it says add to, and when I click add to, you'll see that it brings up a list of my playlists. So if I wanted to add it to one of the existing playlists, I would just check the box in front of that, but I don't have a playlist yet that I want to add it to, so I'm going to click create new playlist, and I will call this one Egypt. And before I hit create, I need to decide whether I want it to be public, unlisted, or private. If this is something that you're going to only be using for yourself, then you can keep it private. But if this is something that you're going to share either with colleagues or with your students, then you either need to have it as public or unlisted. Either one of them really doesn't matter. I'm just going to leave it as public, and I'm going to hit create. So now you'll see it says up here added to the playlist Egypt. So if I come back up here and now I go back home for a second, just so we can see how all of this works. I can go from here. Remember, I've got a lot of different information at my disposal, but I want to go to my channel. And when I do, one of the tabs there is playlists. And you'll see that I have 3 playlists active, okay? And so here's that Egypt playlist. And if I just remember, if I click here, it'll just start playing any videos that are in that. But if I click here, it'll bring up the list itself with any videos that I've added. Let me quickly run over. I'm going to pause for a second so I can throw a few more videos in here just so you can see how it works once we've got some additional ones in there. Alright, so I've added a few more videos here and done a couple of other things that I wanted to show you. So I've got this playlist now. I have 4 videos in it. And let's say that this is a playlist that I'm going to share with my students, and I'll talk about that in a second. And so I want to do a couple things with the playlist. First of all, this is not the order that I want them to watch these videos in. So while I've got the playlist open in this view, when I move my mouse, you'll notice between videos, it's kind of faint. But over here at the far left, there's a little rectangle with 3 dots in it, and when I move my mouse over it, you'll see what happens. And what that tells me is if I click and hold right now, that I can grab that video and I can move it wherever I want to. So when I let go, I can have these videos reordered. So if I want, we're going to move King Tut up. I'll put him right there. Okay. So that way I can have them watch the videos in the order that I want them to see the videos. Now the other thing you'll notice is over here with the King Tut video, because that's a long video, that one's 1 hour and 31 minutes, that I don't want them to actually have to watch the whole video. I mean, they could if they wanted to, but what I did was I added a note in the playlist for that video. And I told them, you don't need to watch the whole video. I do want you to watch the section that starts at 38 minutes 40 seconds and ends at 43 minutes and 12 seconds. And the way I did that, the way I added that note in here, was just by when I move my mouse, you'll see that more section that keeps moving around with me. And if I click on that, you'll see that third one down from the bottom, it says add edit notes. so I can add or edit a note. Now, nobody else is going to see this. It's not like I'm actually changing the National Geographic video. This is just a note in my playlist, okay? Which again is helpful for me to give some instructions to my students through those notes. Now, I can also, before I forget, you can move the videos if you don't want to do it the hold and grab way. You can move the videos this way as well, but only to the top, all the way to the top and all the way to the bottom, so it's a little clunky to do it that way. We can also use this to set a picture as a thumbnail for the playlist, so if I wanted that mummification one to show up, you'll see what happens when I click this. There we go. So now that's going to show up as the, even though it's the last video in the series, I can pick that to be the thumbnail for the whole playlist. Now back up here at the top, we have a couple of buttons to pay attention to. One is play all. That'll just start at number 1 and play down through all of the videos. Now again, one of the problems there is here we've got this really long one and I only want them watching a particular section. We can, and that's another video for another time, but we can actually set a video up to start at a specific place. Can't set it to end at a specific place though, so that's where we would still want that note to be there, and that would be relevant. The next button though is to share a playlist. And here you can see that when we share it, we get a link that we can then either email out to people. We could put it in our Google Classroom assignment. We could put it on our own web page. There are a lot of different ways that we could get that playlist URL out to people. You could do it as a QR code, set it up as a QR code so kids could scan it with their phone if you wanted to, and so on. We can get an embed code. So if you have your own web page and you want them to go to the web page to watch the playlist instead of coming to YouTube and then finding the playlist, you could embed you'll have a player embedded right on your page with the playlist there. Excuse me. And then we also have the option to email right from YouTube. So if you put somebody's address in here, if you wanted to share this with a colleague, you could do that, type in the person's address here, and they'll get an email from YouTube with the link to that playlist. Moving over to playlist settings, this is where we can change if we made a mistake and accidentally made it private and we actually wanted it public. We can change that in playlist settings. Ordering, so we can change how the videos in our playlist are ordered. The default is manual, and I always keep it there because I always want to be able to move the videos around. And then the other one is allow embedding, so that will allow other people to embed my playlist too. Here's one I really wanted to show you though, collaborate. If I turn that on, now this just became a collaborative playlist, and what this means is I can email the link. You can see here I can get the link for this playlist. And this is going to be a special link that I will email to people, and anybody who has that link will become a collaborator. And what that means is they'll be able to add videos and delete videos, but they'll be able to add and change this playlist as well. So a lot of potential there if you think about it. If you and another teacher that you work with teach the same topic, rather than having to go out and find your own resources, if you created a collaborative playlist, you'd both be able to work on it, add things that you both like to share with each other. You could also do this with students. So as part of a student project, students could create a collaborative playlist as well. So that's kind of a cool feature that, based on user feedback, YouTube finally got around to adding back in. Now, one thing I wanted to show you is, let me come back over here to the Royal Ontario Museum's channel. And when I do that, I can see other people's playlists that they've made public in their channels. So when I click on playlists here, these are all of their playlists. And what's really nice about being able to see these is, for instance, let's take this I Am a Scientist playlist. Click on it so we can see what's in here. I've got a ton of videos, right? 18 videos in the whole series. And what I can do is, you'll notice that my buttons are slightly different because I still have the play all and I still have the share button. But now what I have instead of playlist settings is I have save. And when I do this, watch what happens. So I'm going to click save. All right, and I'm going to click OK. So now let me go back to my channel, And let me go back to my playlists. And now you'll notice that I have my 3 playlists that I've created, but now I also have their playlist for I Am a Scientist. And I also, what I can do...
Hi, my name is Catherine Demo.
Sorry, Catherine, let's make you quiet for a second. One of the things that I can do is I can come back, sorry, clicked on the wrong thing. There we go. One of the things that I can do is I can take all of these videos, and right now because I just saved the playlist, I can't do anything with it. So as long as I'm okay with this playlist the way it is, I could just use it as a saved playlist. But let's say that out of all of these, there are 18 videos here, and let's say there are 6 of them that I actually want my kids to watch. If I do add all to, and I did that by clicking those 3 little buttons over here, I can create a new playlist, and I'm going to say ROM Scientists. And now, if I go back to my channel, and I go back to playlists, now I have that saved playlist that's theirs that I can't change, but I also have my own playlist that has those 18 videos in it. So now if I wanted to, I can come in here and let's say I don't want his, and I don't want that one, and I don't want that one. So in other words, I now have their playlist that I could customize. I could start adding more videos to it. So this could give you a way to take a playlist that somebody else has created already and really customize it, make it your own, so you don't have to start from scratch. So I hope that's helpful, and I hope you can start to see how playlists in your classroom and in your instruction could be very useful and a real time saver.